The world of Nocturne is a terrifying one. Conceived in Japan from the developers at Atlus, the game follows the role of a young boy who is transformed into a demon, after his teacher saves him and his friends from the end of the world. Now in a Tokyo warped by the magic of the Kagetsuchi, the player must try to create a new world they believe to be the right path, even fighting their own friends due to their differing ideologies. This end of the world scenario is seeped more into culture than a set apocalypse, like machines taking over or something. The Amala drum, which sets up this whole scenario, is based on the prayer wheel. The nebulous Lama, Thupten Zompa Rinpoche, comments how the prayer wheel can completely change a place. Though since the Amala drum is meant to end the world, it's clearly an opposing force to the prayer wheel, and quite more literal. The Kagetsuchi that is formed from all this, that big shining light thingy, is also based in Japanese mythology, as the son of Izanagi and Izanami, who was cut into 8 pieces that became 8 volcanoes. No wonder he's pissed off with some of my decisions. Despite having a fiery theme to it, the game converts that into magic lightning of instant death because video games. But let's look at it this way. The Kagetsuchi is the key to create a new world, similar to how lava can help create new lands. But of course, both the lava and lightning destroy everything in their way to create life. Really, you can see this whole scenario as a 6th extinction rather than a type of apocalypse we are used to talking about in media criticism. You know, the types that end up with us causing the apocalypse anyway, save for maybe aliens, but odds are we'll mess that up. And not to mention, the main antagonists, they are human. Well, were in some cases. The what-if scenario warning is clear to see, and can even be compared with real life. In this game, there are beings that possess a reason, an ideology that can shape the world however they please. In the real world, we have presidents, dictators, and far more that can dictate how their country runs. I'd say the only difference is that we aren't killing each other, but even that isn't exactly true as we keep making bigger weapons. The reasons in the games all have their flaws, of course, much like the heads of each country. You know, there is a reason people don't want Donald Trump elected after all, fearing he could set off a chain of events leading us to even more violence. And there's a reason he is compared to Hitler, and that man can also be compared to Chiaki. There's a scene, for example, where she kills human-like demons known as mannequins, deciding they are too weak to survive in her world. Jay, that kinda sounds familiar. Okay, some differences here and there, but you get my point. There's a certain bit of elitism in that kind of thinking. It's why these reasons serve as another apocalypse on top of the conception. And we can also look at Hikawa's reason for that. He wants to end all conflict by ripping away emotions from humanity, as our fear, anger, and sorrow can often lead to wars. Yet by doing this, he can strip away our passion, and those other same emotions can also help us strive to become better. So if you look at it like that, humanity would be dead in a whole other way, losing the very thing that defines us, our emotions. We can definitely see the characters undergo a clean slate, as well as a transformation of consciousness. Using Chiaki as an example, she started as a student possessing great wealth, though worried about her future. Here, her status means nothing, and she chose to adapt to this hellish world, believing in survival of the fittest. The player can serve as a good example of this as well, as they have several choices. Not only can they follow one of the 3 reasons, but they can also choose to have this hellish world remain, bring back the old world before this crap happened, or choose to side with the devil that gave them the powers they were given in the first place, and destroying the Kagetsuchi, thus killing the previous world too. There are many reasons a player can choose one of these endings, sure, but if they're anything like me, I choose one based on how I felt about the characters in the situation. Choosing to restore the old world, for example, shows how the player still cared for his friends despite them turning into monsters, both emotionally and physically. So in a sense, the world developed the character into a calmer thinker, and finally deciding what he wanted to do with his life for a change. Earlier in the game, Chiaki did hint that he was undecided with his future. Or if we take 2 of the other evil endings, perhaps all the hatred and malice the world brought onto the Demi-Fiend changed him from thinking like a student and more into a demon, satisfied in only gaining power and embracing his new demonic will. There are so many ways you can rationalize these decisions that a 5-minute video feels incredibly insufficient in describing it all. There is a reason why I love this game so much, as it changed my way of thinking once I got the neutral ending, reverting the world back to normal. Being a blank slate, he is meant for the player's thoughts and actions to dictate where the story goes, hence why I can actually relate to this character a lot. And because of the way I played, Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne still makes me hopeful that humanity can embrace the good part of themselves. It's almost no different from how some people view Superman, or other heroes for that matter. You know, when Zack Snyder isn't behind them. And it's ultimately up to a player to overcome those problems, just like we have to overcome our problems in real life.